Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We're going to give folks just a few minutes to join, and then we will get started shortly. All right. My name is Carla Rodriguez. I use she, her pronouns, and I am one of the associate directors on the International First Year Programs team, and I work directly with our NU in Spain program. I'm so excited to welcome you all here today. And I just want to go over a couple housekeeping items before we jump in to our NU in Spain and Know Before You Go webinar. Um, this webinar is being recorded and it will be shared with everyone via email, and it will also be posted on the Canvas page. So you all will be able to go back and reference the webinar at your leisure as soon as you get that link. Additionally, we will be using the Q&A feature, which if you have questions throughout the webinar, feel free to drop them in the Q&A. Our staff is ready to go to answer your questions, and we will do our best to get through as many as we can. And with that, I will, if we can go to the next slide, just tell you a little bit about what we're going to talk through today. All right. So today we're going to introduce you to a few of our wonderful staff members who will be on the ground with students this fall in Spain. We will do a little bit of an overview of the program so that you all can just get to know a little bit more about what life will be like in Madrid. We'll go through a couple of key points on academics, get you all ready to go because I know all of you are anxiously preparing to get on that flight to Madrid. We'll go over health and safety resources, looking ahead a little bit, and then I will summarize some of the themes in a Q&A at the end. But with that, like I said, a couple of my colleagues are going to introduce themselves, but my name is Carla Rodriguez again. I'm the associate director that works with NU in Spain. I get to work with these wonderful humans who will be on site in Madrid. I'm also the point of contact for parents and families throughout the fall. I will pass the mic to Gabby.
Hi, good morning to those of you in the US. Good afternoon to those of you further east. My name is Gabby Ubia, and I will be the program supervisor on site in Madrid. And I'm going to pass it to the SLU hired staff with Vicky.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Victoria Taylor. I'll be working alongside Gabby as the program manager for the NUN team. But when I'm not working for Northeastern, I also work in the student life department at St. Louis University, Madrid. Nice to welcome you all, and I'll pass it on to my colleague, Safi.
Hello, everyone. My name is Safia Edwards. I'm also a program manager at the St. Louis University, and we work alongside the Northeastern NUN program for the fall semester. So very excited to welcome everyone.
In addition to these fantastic people on site, we also have Sam Manca, who is not in this webinar, but he is on the ground in SU Madrid. He's the academic advisor who will be working directly with all of our students. Also on site, we have 7 coordinators and 6 RAs. And with that, I would like to introduce you to our student success coordinators. In addition to the 3 of us in there, you have 7 coordinators who will be responsible for the programming and communication with all of the students. They're our first emergency call. They're also our first call when our students have amazing successes and experiences this semester.
All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about Madrid City. Madrid is a lovely, lovely, wonderful place to be. I'm sure that my colleagues would agree as we've all spent lots of time living there. It's one of the larger Western European cities with about 3.2 million people. There are lots of tourists who visit and lots of locals who live there as well. It's so rich and full of history. It's a vibrant, very cosmopolitan city, very easily accessible by the metro, public transport, and it's actually very walkable as well. So a lot of people enjoy walking around. It enjoys almost a full year of sunshine, and I know that the students will enjoy their time there.
Sorry, so this is just a hub of St. Louis University, Madrid. It is the European campus of St. Louis University in Missouri. SLU Madrid has been in operation since 1967 and has hosted the NUN program since 2022. We have 300 plus courses offered for the students with a plethora of STEM classes with labs on campus. We have over 65 and up nationalities that are being represented, and this is a U.S. accreditation school, so students that are four-year degree-seeking students, this degree will be accredited in the United States as well. English is the main language spoken on campus, but we do have faculty members that come from all parts of the world, and they are always eager and exciting to connect with the students. So Academic Tech SLU, I'm just going to give you a rundown of what I will touch base on a little bit later in the session. I'll talk about the structure of the semester, the classroom environment, the co-curricular excursions, attendance and expectations of your students, and the workload and the assessment for students throughout the semester. This is our campus. This is SLU Madrid. We operate from 4 different buildings around the university area. We recently required a 5th one called La Viña, and in that building, excuse me, will be a selection of office spaces and more rooms for students to get around. So in Padre Arrupe Hall, which is the first building pictured here, you have the finance office and you have some classes for students to use. In Padre Arrupe Hall, Rubio Hall, you have the registrar's office and our office, which is the most important place for students to come and find us throughout the semester. San Ignacio Hall has recently been acquired as the student union, the student hub where the Office of Student Life is located, the different student organizations. We have 40 plus organizations and counting, so students will be able to get active while they're on site there. And we also have Mendesa Hall, which is located literally 5 minutes walking distance from the other 3 buildings listed above. And in those spaces are more office spaces as well as some STEM and science classes. So I will now pass it back to my colleague, Bobby.
All right, just some tips for your transition to living in Madrid for a semester. English is very commonly spoken. Like mentioned, it's a very cosmopolitan city, but don't be surprised if there are some people who do not speak English. I think it's a great opportunity for you to practice Spanish if you know a little bit of Spanish, or to learn some Spanish while being there. So it's very accessible as by metro. It's easy to travel from neighborhoods using the metro, public transports. There are buses and metro stations 5 to 10 minutes out from campus. So it's very easy to hop on a bus to get to another neighborhood, and also to explore other towns that are very close to Madrid, such as Toledo and Segovia as well too. Recycling is very big there, so you'll often see a lot of different receptacles with different colors because garbage is normally sorted in a very meticulous way in Madrid. So we just ask that you respect that, be a global citizen, and follow the recycling rules while studying there this semester. Another different thing is that tipping is very customary in US and other countries to tip for service, but in Madrid, they are quite fine with a gracias, a nice smile. They love providing good service to people who come to different establishments, so you do not necessarily have to tip for the service that you're being given. Also, tap water is very drinkable in Madrid, very fresh, very nice. Actually, a legal requirement as well in restaurants for them to offer you tap water as an alternative to bottled water. So I know many of you will probably be bringing water bottles along, so you can always fill those up at the tap or at fountains as well too. Madrid is a very safe city to be in. It's great to explore. We just mentioned that you be aware of your surroundings. You'll be in a new environment, so it's pretty important to know where you are, know what's going on around you, but relatively, it's a very safe place to be.
Continuing on the theme of where you will be living, let's talk about the residence halls. So all students will be living in two-person shared rooms with 2 desks, 2 chairs, armoires, and each room has a shared ensuite bathroom and a kitchenette. Students will live in one of 3 residence halls, El Faro, Galdós, or Emilia Pardo Bazán. All 3 buildings are 10 to 15-minute walk from campus. Each building has a laundry room in-house. They're payable by an app, washers and dryers. There is a gym in each residence hall. It is free to use. There are study rooms that are reservable. There are social meeting spaces. Each residence also has its own dining hall. And most importantly, there's weekly room cleaning and changing of bed linens. Linens are provided. The fitted sheet, the duvet and the duvet cover, the pillowcase, and a towel as well. Wi-Fi is included in each residence hall. You have to register with the residence hall, but it is free. There's 24/7 security. Someone is always staffing the front desk. Resident staff from 9 to 5, and then a security guard overnight. The roommate process, roommates are assigned using preferences listed in the enrollment form. And you will learn of those when you arrive to campus. Let's take a look at these rooms. These rooms are stunning. The residence hall is gorgeous. There's so much storage. There's under bed storage. You can see the armoires behind the bed. There is a kitchenette, sink, microwave that you cannot see in the photo, and a mini refrigerator. And then these are some photos from the residence halls. They will look a little bit different, but they have the same of these amenities. There's game rooms, the gym. You can see the laundry room pictured above, and each has an outdoor space. And like I mentioned, each one has a dining hall located in-house.
And on that note of dining halls, as my colleague Gabby mentioned, students will have a microwave and a small fridge in their room, so they're able to put snacks, yogurt, cereals if they want to in their rooms to have for breakfast. And also a good idea to have some quick tutorials of 5-minute microwave meals. So students will be provided with a 7-day meal plan, which means 3 meals a day. You get breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which is typically a Spanish style meal with a first, second, and a third course. We do consider that students might have classes that run long during the day, so they might not be able to make lunch. So in addition to that, students will just need to connect with the receptionist desk the night before or the day before they go to classes just to get a meal voucher ticket that transfers over to the St. Louis University Madrid cafeteria, which has a more variety of meals, more Americanized. There's burgers, there's burritos, and the famous Chicken Wednesdays. In addition to that, students can also get groceries and small items that they need, which is in walking distance from Mercadona and Carrefour from their residence halls. I'll pass it back to Safi now.
All right, so you saw our coordinators earlier, and aside from being a great point of contact for anything that you may need throughout the semester, they're also very excited to plan programs that you're able to participate in. These programs are just a way for you to immerse in the Spanish culture, explore the city, bond with some of your classmates. Then they're all planned by the coordinators. So some examples of past programs that we've done is the exciting football game or soccer game, Atlético de Madrid. There is a Spanish cooking class where you can learn how to cook some Spanish classics like tortilla de patata. We've done walking and tapas tours. We've done health and wellness programs as well, such as yoga. So it's a great experience for you to be interested in and to attend while on campus. Along with programs, we do have family dinners monthly as well. So this is more of an opportunity for you to bond with the people that you'll be living with in your residence who are in your family group. It's also another great chance to explore different cuisines and different restaurants that are around Madrid. We have some of our tried and true favorites, but we're always very open to suggestions. So if there's a place that you've seen that you like, you could always let us know. Along with programs and family dinners, we also do traditions throughout the semester. It's a great way for us to foster that Husky pride. You're coming from Northeastern University and visiting abroad. So these traditions are not only going to be on the Spain campus, but they're also enjoyed at all of the NUN campuses around. So they're a great way for us to bond, to connect, and to be connected to Northeastern as well with Husky pride. We have some very exciting day trips and weekend trips coming up for this semester. We will participate in 2 different day trips and an overnight trip to Valencia. Our first day trip will be happening during orientation week. So right as you arrive, we're going to visit the beautiful Monasterio de Piedra. It's in the north of Spain, a little bit north of Madrid. And it is a beautiful, beautiful monastery where you can see natural waterfalls and very lush parklands. It's going to be very enjoyable. We'll also be going to Cordoba. So our cohort is going to be split into 2 groups. One group will be going to Cordoba on the weekends of the 20th and 21st of September and October 4th and 5th. And then another group will be going to Valencia. So you'll get more information during orientation week about all of these trips. And here are some pictures for the excursions. We have the beautiful waterfall in the Monasterio de Piedra. We have the Mesquite that's in Cordoba, the Catedral Mesquite. And then we have the City of Arts and Sciences in Valencia. So I hope you're excited to visit these places.
Okay, not to ruin the fun of the semester, but I am going to talk a little bit about academic. That's the most important thing for our students here. So the academic experience, students are in a full semester of credits. So which means is that all of the coursework will be accredited back to Northeastern. So, we do encourage students to, kind of take this semester a little bit more seriously because these grades do follow them back. The courses and workload, it differs from professor to professor. So we often talk with students about if you're going into a class and it's not, the speed that they're accustomed to getting connection with the professor straight on and prepare a study group. So that way the students will be prepared throughout the semester. Letter grades are included in the GPA. The classroom environment are typically between 20 to 25 students in the class. So the student ratio won't be too overwhelming for the students to adjust to. And it's also pretty easy as well. The academic culture. So SLU Madrid, we follow a U.S. academic culture and standards. Students are required to participate and be active in the learning experience because it's an opportunity for them to learn from a plethora of faculty members, as I mentioned before, who come from different parts of the world. They're super educated and they're willing to learn with the students as well. There's a lot of academic support. We have the academic team at SLU, but our students in particular work closely with Salamanca, as we mentioned earlier, who would be there to support them if they need to change any classes, if they're finding that they need academic accommodations, he's also there to assist. Attendance is very important for our students. We do know that things come up in our daily lives, but we expect students to be attentive and on time to their classes. Textbooks are available on site. We do have a bookstore that is located in our San Ignacio Hall building, but depending on the classroom and the professor, some materials might be covered through the Blackboard systems or, work that's giving out in each class. And I'll pass it back to Safi.
All right, just a little bit about the course schedules. You'll be able to access the finalized class schedule near the end of August. Maybe it's appearing for some people at the moment, but just know that sometimes things get switched around. So your finalized class schedule will be accessible usually at the end of August, and you can access that through the SLU portal. Classes are usually Monday to Friday, 2 or 3 times per week. They're normally 50-minute or 1 hour and 15-minute sessions. So you will receive more information on that when you receive your schedules as well. Important dates to note is that classes start on Wednesday, September 3rd. They end on December 12th, and final exams are December 15th to the 19th. Now, you'll be able to review the handbook and see all the academic policies and procedures for SLU Madrid. It's great to be informed of that as well, too. And you'll be able to check your course syllabi once you're able to access your schedule. And on the syllabi, you'll be able to see what textbooks are needed. And like Vicky mentioned earlier, you can purchase these textbooks at the bookstore or online if needed. Some professors do use digital resources, so sometimes there's not a need to purchase textbooks.
All right. If you are in need of academic accommodations, we ask that you submit that documentation sooner rather than later. It's always better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. You have to submit documentation to both Northeastern and SLU Madrid. If you've already submitted to Northeastern, SLU will immediately honor that agreement. So you can send the agreement from Northeastern to SLU Madrid at the following email right here. They do have a leeway of a couple of weeks after the semester starts up until the add drop period to get those in. But Sam always says the sooner the better, so we can get you whatever services you need.
Okay, so after all of this information has just been given to you, here's a little touch about what to expect for the semester and beyond. So here's some important dates. Bear in mind that your student will arrive to us in Madrid on August 29th, which means that they are leaving the day before, which is August 28th. So upon arrival day, we have orientation set up for students from August 29th to September 2nd. It will be a mixture of orientation from our NUN team as well as SLU Madrid. They also have orientation set up for our students as well. So they'll get a lot of information with them as well on, the do's and don'ts of the program and, what to expect and get ready for at the semester start. September 3rd is the first day of classes. Students should be receiving their class schedules later this month, actually, so they'll be able to know more or less what time those classes start. So if you're thinking of senior students, we ask that you wait until the students receive those syllabi. October 12th, November 9th, December 6th, and 8th are national holidays that we do observe in Spain. As Safi mentioned before, December 15th through the 19th are final exams for our students. And then we hope to send them back to you with some new life skills and a plethora of experience on December 20th when they depart back home. So preparing for your journey, what to pack? We ask that students pack light. They pack what they are able to carry. If students are on any ongoing medicine prescriptions, we ask that they pack that in their carry-on and pack enough for them to get through the semester. Converters and chargers, yes, they are necessary to have, but no appliances. So no blow dryers, no curling irons, because those things can be purchased when they get here in Madrid. The Madrid weather, it's going to start really hot. We are experiencing some really high temperatures today. I think the high is like in the high 90s, and when they get here, it will still be that way. But we do suggest that students pack in layers because in the later months, like mid-October to November, the temperature does start to get a little bit chilly. So you can also think about packing a coat, although they don't need a lot of winter clothes, because if they do get cold, we do have shops like Zara, H&M, and Primark to get them additional things as they need it. Banking and budgeting, we encourage you to have a conversation with your student to practice some healthy budgeting tips while they are here. Discuss with your bank about any ATM fees that might come up. I know some banks are different. And also just let your bank know that you will be abroad. So the conversion, they can understand, like they can be aware of the transactions being made. American Express does not really work here. And also too, Madrid is very tap and go friendly. So if students are already using Apple Pay and paying for things on their phone, it's easy to use. Okay, so I said this already before. The local currency is in euros. Just a reminder, get in touch with your banking companies and let them know ahead of time. Beware of the international transaction fees, and again, discuss expectations with your family to set up financial budgets with your students. And I'll pass it back to Gabby.
All right, let's talk about getting there. For those of you who are on the group flight, first of all, we highly recommend enrolling yourself in the STEP Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, which is through the State Department. You go to step.state.gov and register your time abroad. It will allow you to receive emergency updates from your location, wherever you're traveling. If you're on the group flight, continue to check your email regularly for information. And of course, when it comes to check-in time, our staff will be monitoring any delays, any potential weather. If you miss a connection to the group flight, contact Advantage Travel to rebook your travel. On arrival day, your students will be picked up at Madrid Barajas Airport by NUN staff. You will see them decked out in red and black with big welcome NUN signs. We recommend that you wear your North gear and your colors to, not only celebrate your arrival so that our staff can recognize you, and also that you can recognize people that you might not have met before on your way over. And then we'll talk about independent travelers. Independent travelers, we also recommend that you enroll in STEP. If you have not completed the independent traveler survey, please do that ASAP. On that survey, you can indicate if you are interested in ground transportation. We will be taking buses from the airport to the residence halls. And so in the coming days, a staff member will confirm your space on the bus. If you do not receive a confirmation, or if your flight arrives at a different time, you will need to arrange for your own transportation to the residence hall. You will receive your residence hall address 1 week before arrival. 1 week before arrival, when you receive that Know Before You Go guide, we'll also have the travel phone number to contact for the day of travel, just in case you have any delays or complications in your Jersey and you're not a part of the group flight. Incredibly importantly, we need to talk about your mobile phone while you're abroad. For safety reasons, students must have a working phone number within 1 week of being on site with access to data that is not on Wi-Fi. So you have received a survey for help getting a SIM. We just ask that you fill that out as soon as possible now, so that we are able to coordinate with a local company and get students their SIM cards during orientation. Many of you will choose to have an international plan. Some of you will choose to get a local SIM card. Both are fine as long as you have the ability to make local and international calls. That's the most important. For local SIM cards, vendors will be present at on-site orientation. Their plans are super inexpensive in Spain. It's €5 for the actual SIM card, and then it could be 15 to 50 euros per month, depending on how much data you want. We recommend that you use other apps, WhatsApp, FaceTime, to call home, as many of these are free. Make sure that your phone is unlocked. This is very important and some people forget. In the US, if you're attached to like Verizon or T-Mobile, your phone might be locked, but you can go to the store, get it unlocked for use with an international SIM card. And then, of course, have a discussion with your family. How often are you going to call home? When are you going to FaceTime? Do they expect a text from you every day, every other day, twice a day? That's something for you to discuss with your parents, friends, family.
Okay, we have a little bit about policies and procedures. It's super important. Of course, you're going to be visiting a new city. It's going to be exciting, but it is very important to follow all the local laws. as well as your host institution, St. Louis University. They have policies as well. So it's very important to be familiar with these policies. You're going to be living in a residence, so the university housing, the Northeastern University Code of Conduct, and also as being a member of the NUN program, there's also a supplement code of conduct. So it's great to familiarize yourself with all of these policies and procedures. They're there in place for you to support your academic success, for you to be in a safe, fair, and responsible environment while you're here visiting Madrid. So recommendation is to make sure that you read through all of these policies and procedures before arrival.
All right, let's talk about health and safety abroad. This is one of our top priorities. Let's talk about health insurance. All students who are enrolled at SLU Madrid, like all of our students, are enrolled in Sanitas health insurance. They will receive their card during orientation. Sanitas health insurance is a comprehensive medical health insurance. You have access to doctors, to the local ER. You can make appointments on the app. The local hospital is 2 blocks from campus. It's very accessible. And then also we will take your students on a tour those first couple of days so they know where to find the pharmacies, where to find the doctor's office. So they have control over their health and wellness. In addition, if a student is ever not staying in the residence halls during the program, they need to fill out a personal travel form, whether they are, popping over to France, whether they are staying with, their families when they come to visit. We need to know where they are in case of an emergency in Madrid or outside of Madrid in case we need to offer support. Along with that, let's take a look at the Crisis 24 Horizon app, which we are asking all of our students to download and register with. You have some QR codes there. You can find it in your app store. Once it's installed, you will need to log in with your Northeastern credentials and accept the prompts so you can get notifications. If you go to the next slide, you can see the push notifications and the location services. This means that wherever you are in Madrid, if you're traveling outside of Madrid, you will receive emergency notifications enabling location services. It won't share anything, but it will help your students and us keep you safe. All right, Vicky mentioned this earlier. We want to reiterate, if you are traveling with prescriptions, pack them in your carry-on. Make sure you have the bottle and the prescription, the original bottle, please. We suggest having a semester-long supply because even though we have a very good relationship with the Sanitas doctors, not all medicine is the same. It can't be prescribed the same. You may have, a history of tests that can't be done within these 4 months. We do not recommend shipping medications. There are rules and regulations that are very complicated. It could get stuck in customs. It's much simpler if you can get a full supply to bring it all with you. Again, use Garda World application as a resource. Look up the rules of the country. I'm sorry, the Crisis 24 app as a resource. Understand the rules of the country. If you have any questions about this, email mytravelplans@northeastern.edu. And then also let someone you trust know about your medical history. That can be a member of staff. It can be someone that you meet there. It can be a member of the residence hall staff. It's helpful to have someone there who can assist you in case of an emergency with your medical history.
All right, transitioning back to Boston into 2026. We normally receive a lot of questions from students and parents about how it is going to be transitioning back to Boston. How will I adapt in the second semester? So during your semester abroad in Madrid, you'll receive spring housing application. All NUN students transferring back to Boston are guaranteed NUN housing. So you will receive that in October and you're able to apply for your housing. Maybe you can request living with the roommate that you've met in Madrid. That's also an opportunity for you to do so if you would like to. Also, if you need to have an F1 visa, if applicable, you're also able to request and speak with your advisor about these things. To say similarly, for spring course registration, you'll be in contact with your academic advisor at Northeastern University, and you'll be able to plan your courses for the spring semester. Northeastern University, because of the NUN program, has made it so seamless to get back to Boston for your transition there. So you'll be able to do Husky 101 orientation during the first week, which is very similar to the orientation that students receive in the fall. You will have a welcome fair where you're able to see what type of clubs you want to participate in and what you want to join and do for your new semester in Boston. And also there are lots of alumni events where you're able to see the cohort that you traveled to NUN with as well too. All right, so for our student action steps, like my colleagues Gavi and Vicky have mentioned, pack smart. It'll start off very warm in Madrid and then get a little bit cold, so you can pack layers. You don't necessarily have to bring the biggest winter jacket. And also just pack, you'll be going away for 4 months and you'll have the opportunity to purchase things as needed as well. Things are very relatively cheap there and clothing quality is good as well too. So just make sure the medications that you have that you will need, they're packed in your carry-on just for emergency purposes. Continue to work with your academic advisors, both on the SLU side and when you get to Madrid, the northeastern side. You can also learn some easy recipes. You'll have a microwave while living in your residence hall, and it'll be great to be able to make like tiramisu in a mug or a cupcake in a mug. So that's another point that you can also focus on before coming to Madrid. And then also keep an eye on both of your inboxes. So there is the Northeastern email inbox, and then there's also your SLU Madrid inbox. Emails are normally sent there. That's how your professors are going to communicate with you. So it's very important to keep an eye on both inboxes just so that you're not missing any important messaging, and both inboxes, including your spam inbox for both of these inboxes as well too. All right, and next up for parents, speak with your students. What are their expectations for the semester? What do they hope to gain from this experience? What do you hope for them to gain from this experience? It's great to have that conversation before they arrive. Check in with them. How often are you going to be checking in? Like Gabby mentioned, is it just a message a day, a call per week? Very important, especially with the time differences. So it's great to know how often you're going to be communicating with them, and then also checking in with them about the emails and deadlines for things that they're receiving before coming to Madrid. It's great that if you're able to visit and would like to visit the students. So we always recommend to wait until class schedules are published at the end of August, even after orientation, when they receive the information for the weekend trips that they're going to be attending. It'll be great to wait to plan your visit until they receive this information. And now I am going to hand it back to Carla.
Hello, everyone. All right, so I'm just gonna review some of the common questions that we got in the chat so that we can share it with the whole community. One that came up a few times was from our family members and who are wanting to plan their visits. We always recommend that families wait until students receive their course syllabi to plan their visits. There is no, for example, fall break that is a consecutive amount of days off of class. There are um, holidays that are interspersed throughout the semester, but there's no concentrated amount of time that students will have off, for example, to have a visit. I always like to flag, for example, Thanksgiving is not a holiday in Europe, and so students will have class on that day. We will have a lovely event, we will feed them, we will celebrate, but it is not a holiday during which students won't have class. So as soon as students arrive, when they go through their first week of class, they will receive their syllabi, and you can have that conversation about when does a visit make the most sense. Another question that we got, it was, when will I know what residence hall I will be in? Great question. Students will receive an email from their coordinator approximately a week before arriving to site, and that email will contain the name of what building you are in, so that when you arrive, whether you are on the group flight or an individual traveler, you will know what building you're going to. And speaking of that group flight day, we got the question, are people meeting each other at the airport beforehand? So students will not formally gather before going through security. Um, Generally, the reason why we encourage folks to either wear something Northeastern or red or black is so that once they get to the gate, they can help identify they can identify each other. But there is not a staff member who will fly from the US to Madrid with them. But as soon as they get out of baggage claim in Madrid, our site staff team um will be there to receive them. And then final note kind of on the travel, approximately a week before you depart, you will also receive your Know Before You Go guide, which will have full details that you need to know to get you to that location. I know Gabby mentioned it a few times, but just a reminder that the day of travel phone number will be in there in case you encounter any difficulties or delays. And it will also have the information for just the logistics of that time of travel. And then one note of clarity for accommodation applications. So students must submit their information both to Northeastern and SLU Madrid. They are independent processes, and so students need to be sending their application information to Northeastern and to SLU Madrid. And you can reference those contact emails on the slide previously shown in the webinar. And all right, those are pretty much a summary of questions that we got. If you didn't get your question in, please feel free to reach out to us at nun@northeastern.edu or give us a call at the phone number on the screen. And we look forward to seeing you in Madrid. Safe travels, everyone. Take care.